Good morning, boys and girls. Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to Maths Grade 9 Term 3. We are learning today algebraic expressions. Before we can get to deeper content of algebra, we have to know the language. And first of all, what is algebra? Algebra is just part of maths where variables are incorporated in an equation or in an expression. And those variables, they will just represent a particular number that we do not know at that particular moment or in that expression. So now I spoke about an expression. What is an expression? Expression, it is numbers, letters, and operations grouped together. For example, I've written 5x squared plus 4xy minus 3x cubed minus 7. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an expression. I have got numbers together with variables. Variables, I'm talking about the letters that you find in an expression or an equation. And I have got operations where in this case I've got addition and subtraction. And then I've got numbers as well. So this, we call it an expression. An expression, it is made of terms. And what are terms? When we talk about terms, we are talking about numbers that have got variables and numbers that can be on their own, which do not have variables. And together, these terms, when they are separated, or when they are grouped together and separated by addition and subtraction, then we call this an expression. Expression, it is made out of terms. So I have got this is a term, another term, another term, and another term. Okay, bear in mind that I have expressions are separated by addition and subtractions. An expression can have terms whereby only additions are there, whereby only subtractions are there, and also a mixture of both addition and subtraction. Just bear that in mind. All right. And expressions can have different number of terms. For example, I can have 3x. This is an expression with one term. And I call this a what? A monomial. Mono means one. So this is an expression with only one term. And I can have another expression with two terms, whereby I have got 3x plus 2. And we call it a binomial. Binomial, yes, a binomial. And I can have an expression with three terms where we call it can be 3x plus maybe 2x squared minus 3 or plus 3. Doesn't matter. But I have got 1, 2, 3 terms, and I call it a what? A trinomial. Okay, and looking at this original expression that I had written before, how many terms does it have? It has got 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. And we call this a what? A polynomial, because it has got more than 3 terms. So we consider more than 3 terms as many terms. So poly stands for many. So we call this what? A polynomial. Okay, and then in an expression, boys and girls, we have got terms such as variables, we have got coefficients, we have got constant numbers. Now let us look at our original expression. I said we have what? Variables. Variables, I am talking about the letters that you find in an expression. Variables, it could be A, B, C, D up to Z. So normally in mathematics, we prefer to use X, Y, Z, sometimes A and B and C. So in this case, my variables are X. I've got another variable here, which is X. I've got another variable there, which is Y. And then, of course, another X. Those are the variables that you find in an expression. I said that in expression, we can also have what? Constant terms. When I talk about constant terms, I'm talking about the numbers that do not have variables. So in this case, I have got negative 7. I'm emphasizing -7 because at times your constant term, it can have a different sign which maybe could be a positive. So in this case, when you have got a +7, then your constant term is +7. And when you have got a constant term, in our case, where it is -7, then you consider it as -7. Never forget your signs. And we are also talking about the coefficients of variables. When we talk about coefficients of variables, we are talking about the variables and the numbers that multiplies the variable. I hope that makes sense. For example, I'm just going to cancel here. Coefficients of variables. For example, let's talk about this one. When I talk about a coefficient of variable, I'm talking about a number that multiplied that particular variable. When I have 5x squared, I want you to know that 5x squared originates from 5 multiplied by x multiplied by x, whereby when these two x's multiply, they give me x squared. And the 5, of course, multiplied by the x squared, it gives me 5x. And remember the definition, it said a coefficient, it is either a number, a coefficient of a variable, it is either a number or a variable that multiplies that particular variable. So in this case, what is a coefficient of x squared? It is 5, because it is 5 that multiplied the x squared. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And let me go to the second term, whereby I have got 4xy. When I have got 4xy, and just in case they're asking me what is the coefficient of y, so of x, I'm checking what is it that multiplied the x. Remember, this term originates from 4 multiplied by x multiplied by y. So if I'm asking myself what is the coefficient of the variable x, then it will be, for example, let's say they ask me what is the coefficient of, what is the coefficient of x. I want you to know that 4x originates from 4 multiplied by x multiplied by y. Okay, so remember that a coefficient of a variable, it is either a number or a variable that multiplied that particular variable. Okay, so for example, I have got 4xy and they want to know what is the coefficient of x. So I will have to know that 4 multiplied the x as well as y multiplied the x. So it means the coefficient of x in this case, it will be 4y. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So let's do the last one. I've got 3x cubed. Actually, I've got -3x cubed. From our original expression, it is -3x cubed. So I'm being asked what is the coefficient of x cubed. So my coefficient will be -3. Do not forget the sign. You always take the number or a variable with its sign. Okay, and I want you to note that a coefficient does not only work with the multiplication. Remember, the definition says a coefficient, it is a number or a variable that divides a particular coefficient. For example, if I have got 4 over x and they are asking me what is the coefficient of x, the coefficient of x, it will be 4, because 4, it is dividing the x. Okay, I hope that it makes sense, and next time we meet, we'll be doing more of the language of algebra, and of course learning more about like terms and unlike terms and how do they add and not add. See you next time.